Ready? What?
I'm just gonna have some water.
Have some water then.
Perrier is better than the other gassy stuff. Okay.
Ready? You want to get good here? Bring up the water there. Yeah. Great job, buddy. Okay. So maybe we can say that this vocabulary, well, two objectives come to mind for the vocabulary that I've been working on. One is to more accurately reflect how the mind functions. And then the other one is to find ways to express humility because of how the mind functions. Ways to sort of distance ourselves from a given thought. To say that this given thought is not necessarily true, nor does it necessarily reflect all my other thoughts. Okay, so these two words are sort of fall into that, sort of meet some of those objectives. So the first one we have is heard. When we have a thought, we don't know whether we can trust it. We don't know how it relates to our other thoughts. So what's good maybe is to say, to preface the thought with heard, as in, this is a mental action that I've just experienced, a thought, a reaction, a judgment. It exists here, I'm sharing it with you, but I'm not necessarily claiming this to be true. So, for instance, so it's a skeptical preface for a sentence that will express a voice, okay? So here we have an example. Heard you're trying to insult me. Don't know whether you are, but that's just the impression that I got. That's what a voice in me is saying. Now, this isn't literally a voice that you hear, but it's just a thought that you have, a feeling that you have, a thing that you believe, and you're just making it a little bit lighter by saying, this is an impulse. Okay, and now here's another one, and this one it's really important for recognizing that although we have this illusion that we are reasonable, that we are not reasonable. Because we have the illusion that we are reasonable, we are often going to try to anticipate our behavior, speculate about our own thoughts, as though we are reasonable. Okay? So this is EER, is a skeptical qualifier for a sentence that presupposes being reasonable and integrated. I should say integrated, or completely, entirely integrated. And it stands for en étant raisonnable, so in being reasonable. Being reasonable, blah, blah, blah. So here's an example. Look, I wouldn't get mad at you about that. Then again, maybe I would. But right now, getting mad doesn't seem reasonable. So what we've done there is that naturally what we might say is, I wouldn't get mad at you about that. Why would I be mad that you broke that thing? I wouldn't get mad. That wouldn't be reasonable. I wouldn't get mad at you about that. And then we have to realize, we're not reasonable. So actually, although in this conversation I'm not mad that you broke it, maybe I'm mad you didn't tell me, is what I think, right? But in reality, if I had maybe seen you break it, or if you had broken it and then told me about it, I may have actually been mad about you breaking it, about your breaking it. And so it's a reminder to ourselves as well when we say EER. So when we try to speculate about our behavior and we recognize that the speculation is of a reasonable behavior or reasonable attitude, we throw in EER as to say to the other person, hey, look, maybe I would have gotten mad, but I recognize that it wouldn't be reasonable. And to remind ourselves that I'm only speaking as though I were reasonable, but I'm not.
Good.
There you go. So another example is people often say, if I would have noticed, or I would have known. Or yeah, if my wife were cheating on me, I would have known. Or if my son were doing drugs, I would have known, or something like that. And hopefully when you say those things, as you practice the humility and knowing what the mind is, you'll start to naturally throw in an ear. Ear, I would have noticed that, but shit, actually, there is the illusion of attention. Why are you doing that?
Because the sun is in my eyes, and this is very painful right now. So I thought you were coming to a close.
Well, I was coming to a close.
I know. Well, you should have said anything then.
Huh?
I was just saying. I was hoping that you would coming to a close.
Yeah, but I want to come to a close.
Okay.
I don't want to be closed.
Okay. Let me
Wipe your face. I don't understand what the problem is.
The sun. Go on.
Yeah, just wipe your face. All right, well, I don't know how. We'll just stop there. You only have to do that once. You don't have to keep doing that.
You could have signaled to me. You didn't have to say anything. You could have just signaled.
Uh-huh.